Hey there. So I bet that you got into the coaching space to make an impact, to make a difference, to change the world in some way or another. But why in the world is it so hard to build the business aspect of it? Why can't you find clients? Why can't you make money? I get it, my friend. I have been there too. If you are tired of running around and trying all the things that the experts tell you to do and still not making any money as a coach, then this video is for you. Hey, I'm Bonnie. I've been an online business owner for over 10 years, and I'm a certified life and business coach, plus a mom of like a billion children. And I help Christian women build their online businesses in a way that balances home and family and actually makes money and makes the difference that they've been dreaming of doing or that God is telling them to do. So let's dive into this. Here's the issue. Being a coach and being a business owner require two very different skill sets. Being a coach requires compassion and understanding and a listening ear. It involves seeing things from a different perspective. It involves helping clients stay accountable, managing their own minds, staying neutral while you look at their lives. So many deep skill sets that I bet you're really good at. Unfortunately, building a business requires much different skills, and they are real tactical skills that we have to develop, or we're never going to have a successful business like we're dreaming of. Being a business owner requires being analytical and creative. You have to be able to try and try and try and fail and still get up and keep going. You have to be disciplined, you have to be consistent, and you have to be a big thinker who is willing to be persistent until it works. So I bet you can see some of those skills in yourself. You just haven't yet figured out a way to combine them in a way that works and is profitable for you. So we're going to talk about that today. First of all, of course, you have to believe that you can become a successful business owner. We know as coaches, the mind is the key to everything. So if you don't believe you can do it, you can't. You're not going to be able to do it. That is the truth. So step number one is going to be working on your own mindset. Of course, you know that. But I'm going to talk about three other steps that are critical for building a business that is successful today and in the long term so that you can make a difference in the world like you're dreaming of and actually make money to change your family's life. Okay, so step number one, you need to know and intimately understand the basic customer journey for your customer or client. What does that mean? It means what are the steps they're going to have to go through to be willing to buy from you? You would never meet a person online, a random stranger, and get married to them the next day. That's weird and creepy. Similarly, it is extremely rare to confront a business online and immediately pay them money. That might happen with a random business on Amazon, but it's not going to happen for a coach who's asking hundreds or thousands of dollars to work with someone. Your audience needs to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust that you can give them results. If they don't believe those things and they don't like you for whatever reason, they're never going to pay you the money that you are asking to give them this transformation in your life. So that's what we have to understand. What steps do they have to go through in order to be ready to hire me and have faith in themselves and in me in helping them get those results? So that basic customer journey has three steps, lots of threes today. Number one, you have to be able to find new leads. What is a lead? It is any person who has given you their contact information. So if you have 50,000 followers on Instagram or more, those are not leads. Those are just followers. And you could lose your account tomorrow. Or as we've seen lately, Instagram could switch their algorithm up so that none of your followers are even seeing your content. That is not a lead. So you have to get your audience to become leads. What does that look like? Looks like exchanging value for their email address. What are you going to give them in exchange for a way to contact them regularly? Now, how do we find these leads? Lots of different ways. Probably social media you're already doing, maybe on YouTube, word of mouth. If you have clients or other people that know how you can give them transformations, ask them to tell their friends about you, referrals, right? Maybe even paid ads or getting in front of other people's audiences, like swapping podcast interviews or guest posting on someone's blog. Lots of different ways to get in front of strangers in the hopes that they will give you their contact information. So once we have leads, step number two in the customer journey is to nurture those leads. Again, like the dating analogy, if you meet a stranger, you go on a date or two, now how do we nurture this relationship until it becomes something more serious? We do this with more free content and more free help. When do you want to work with somebody online? When they've already helped you get results in some way or another through their free content. Again, blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos, email sequences, right? If you're sending out emails every week, is it giving them really good value that is helping them get to a better place so that they know when they're really ready to see results, they come and pay you for those results? So that's the nurturing step. Find those leads, nurture those leads. And then the third step in that customer journey is to help them become clients. How do we help them become clients? By converting them to clients. This is like the proposal in a relationship, the engagement, right? How do we get ready for marriage for that client coach relationship? Now, there's lots of different ways to ascend the relationship to where they pay you money, but that could look like webinars where you pitch your coaching program at the end. It could look like sales calls. For a lot of us, it's just we get on a one-on-one call with somebody and we say, hey, tell me about your problem. I'll tell you about my solution. Does it sound like a good fit? And they say yes or no, and we move on. In other words, anytime you are chatting with somebody and you offer a solution to their problem and they choose to work with you, that is how you convert them into a client. So that is step number one of how to grow your coaching business is be really familiar with that customer journey. Step number two, actively manage your stories. What stories am I talking about? I'm talking about the mental stories that go through our mind all day long, like a loop. Stories that we think are truth. This is what life coaches do, right? We manage the mind so that we can go out and accomplish big dreams. It's always our mind that's keeping us stuck. Always our mind that's keeping us stuck. We know that when we coach people on weight loss or organization or relationships or anything else. It's the same thing in business. This is why I chose to get certified as a life coach before coaching on business. I would try to help friends and family with business. They'd ask for my advice. They'd say, how would you build this business? What should I do next? And I would give them advice and then they wouldn't take action. And it drove me crazy. I'm thinking, why are you asking me for advice if you're not taking action? Because the stories were keeping them stuck. Once I learned that and I learned how to push through those stories, how to break them apart, dismantle them a little bit, then I could really help my friends and family and clients get the results they wanted because they knew how to push through those stories. So, what stories keep you stuck when it comes to growing your coaching business? Now, there are a handful of them that almost all of us go through at one time or another. So, I'm going to list them for you. A big one is imposter syndrome. That means feeling like you don't belong, feeling like you're not a good coach, you're not a good business owner, you don't belong in the entrepreneur space, you don't belong on this side of the camera or phone or in person coaching another human being. If you feel like an imposter in any way, shape, or form, then that might be what's plaguing you. What kind of stories are keeping this imposter syndrome in place? Are you telling yourself that you don't belong there? Are you telling yourself you can't charge a certain amount? What is the thought loop that keeps you in that negative space? Another big one is fear of failure. We know that it's going to require more than one try to build a successful business. And if you've tried it for more than 5 minutes, you know it's going to require failure after failure after failure. I personally actually love the term failure now because I've taken it to mean a trial that didn't work. And so now I know that's not the way to build my business. Now I'm going to find a different way to build my business, right? Failure is so useful. But if we're afraid of it, we are never going to be successful because we have to be willing to fail. We have to be willing to mess up. And we have to be willing to not make it mean anything negative about us, right? Failing is good. If you can't fail, you cannot build a business. So the next time you fail, so for example, you put out a product or an offer or something and people don't buy it, I want you to tell yourself, I just figured out something that doesn't work. I'm that much closer to figuring out what does work. So that fear of failure is a big story that keeps us stuck. What about a fear of embarrassment? A lot of people are worried. Well, I want to be a coach and I want to offer help, but what are my friends and family going to say? What's my neighbor going to say? What am I going to look like when I start making videos on Instagram or on YouTube or somewhere else? What are people going to say? Well, it doesn't matter because what they say is completely irrelevant to your business. It does not mean anything. Your neighbor can hate your business and you can still go on to make $1 million. Your neighbor never has to be a client or a customer, nor your mom or your sister or anybody else in your life. You can be successful regardless of what the people around you say. There are clients and customers for you. So you have to watch out for those stories that are saying, someone's going to make fun of me. Somebody's going to say something nasty. Yeah, welcome to the internet. People say mean things. Move through it. Check those thoughts. And then finally, another big one that I especially see amongst Christian women is the fear of being salesy. Nobody wants to come off as spammy. The idea of looking like a used car salesman is everyone's worst nightmare. You don't want your friends turning around and running the opposite direction when they see you because you feel salesy. This is just a story. What does salesy mean? Why do you not like that type of salesperson? What do you think or feel when you confront them? And how do you avoid thinking or feeling that way when you show up to sell something to someone else? What is a sales experience you've been in on the client or customer side that you've really enjoyed? How could you channel that, right? There is no such thing as good or bad sales. It's just the emotions you want to feel around it. So how can you be a salesperson who creates the kind of emotions that you love in your clients or customers? Now, this is what I do all day long with my clients is we look at those stories, we look at those soundtracks, and we tweak them a little bit. We try to loosen their grip on us so much. When we tell ourselves these stories long enough, they become truth in our mind, even though they're not serving us very well. So if you find these stories to be causing problems for you as well, here is how to loosen their hold on your brain. Number one, identify the story. What is it you're telling yourself? So let's go back to imposter syndrome. Maybe the line that keeps running through your head is, I'm not a good coach. Maybe you didn't have a lot of faith in your certification program, or maybe you didn't take a certification program, but you feel strongly about helping people. Your brain keeps coming back to, I'm not a good coach. Okay, so identify that story. Number two, call it out as a story. Remind yourself, there's not really any such thing as a good coach or a bad coach. Some people are going to love my coaching. Some people are not going to like it, right? So call it out as a story. It's not factual or objective. It's just subjective. It's what your brain is coming up with. Number three, ask yourself what else is true. What else is true about this story. So I might not consider myself a good coach right now, but I have the tools to become a better coach. I have the entire internet at my fingertips. I bet I could become a better coach with more practice, right? So it's okay to believe I'm not a great coach right now if I also believe I know how to become better. And then finally, shift yourself into a place where you can believe both. Can I believe that I'm not a great coach right now and I can become better? Sure. And that feels so much more powerful than sitting and staying stuck in that story of I'm not a good coach, I'm not a good coach. So identify the story, call it out as unhelpful and something you want to let go of. Ask yourself what else is true and then shift into a place where you can believe both things. All right, so we've identified that customer journey. We are actively managing our stories, managing our mind. The final thing we need to do, be consistent. This can be so difficult, especially when we don't see evidence that what we're doing is actually working. You have to get up and do it again and do it again and do it again, even when it seems like it doesn't work. The fact of the matter is, anytime we want to see a transformation or success in any area of our life, the results come after days, weeks, months, sometimes years of consistent small efforts. Take weight loss, for example. What if the first time you cut out sugar, you expected to lose 50 pounds? You'd be seriously disappointed. And you would want to go right back to the sugar because you think this doesn't work. I give up. Or the first day you counted macros, you're like, this is the day I'm going to lose 10 pounds. No, that's not realistic. We know that. It sounds silly when we talk about it like that. But in business, we expect immediate results. We put out a reel on social media and we expect it to get 5,000 views. Well, it's not working. Well, it's not working. Well, yeah, right now it's not working because we haven't been doing it long enough. Small, tiny, consistent efforts over time is what will get you success. The bummer is that these small, simple steps are not exciting. They're not sexy. They're not grandiose. Nobody's going to be like, oh, you posted every day on social media this week? Good job. Nobody cares, right? They don't seem important, but it's these small ones that make all the difference. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where these small, simple actions are just second nature to you. They're just a habit. And then you can build from there and do bigger, greater things. But if you don't start small, you never make progress. The fact of the matter is, these small, simple things will feel like not enough. I guarantee you. Most Fridays, I think, gosh, what did I even get done this week? It doesn't feel like enough. But I put out my podcast and I posted on social media and I emailed my list and I did the small, simple things that I was supposed to do, even though they don't look big. And little by little, that's what yields success. In truth, not everyone is willing to do those small, simple things. In fact, very few people are willing to. A lot of people try business for a while and then they give up because it didn't yield the success they wanted in 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. But that's how you are going to win, is by sticking with it and doing those small, simple things for a long time. So the trick is to just keep showing up every single day. Take some small action in those 3 steps of your customer journey every single week. Find those new people, nurture them, convert them to clients, and eventually you will start seeing success. It's like getting a freight train moving, right? At the beginning, it's so hard. It feels like every step forward is a Herculean effort. And then eventually it's going along at a clip that you get to even hop on and ride for a little bit. That's when your business is making money. It's profitable and it's really making an impact that you dreamed that you'd be able to make. But at the beginning, it's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard. There isn't one single moment that's going to make you feel like a success in business until one day you wake up and go, oh, it's everywhere. I see signs of success everywhere. It just kind of creeps up on you because of those small, simple steps. So get out there, be consistent, manage your brain, take action in all 3 of those steps of your customer journey, and you will absolutely see success. Just remember that every mistake, failure, misstep, screw up along the way is one step forward in the right direction. Good luck, my friends. I'm rooting for you.